Hello, I hope we are live. I'll get Dave to check in a second. I'm hoping I'm on the right page, because when I went to put in all the information, of course, it all looked different again on my phone today. So today we will be cooking Punjabi chicken from our new cookbook, Simply Delicious, which is in pre-order now. Here's my mock-up book, my trusty mock-up book that I've been using during our promos and that for the book, but yeah, it's in pre-sales now. So this has proved to be quite a popular recipe already from, for those of you who don't know, when you order one of our cookbooks, you get an immediate digital version of it, so you can actually start looking through the cookbook and cooking straight away. So some people have already been going through the book, making all their favourites, and this one has proved to be one of our most popular recipes already. But I thought I'd jump on, show you a few tips. I'm going to also cook a cauliflower rice to go with it, and I'm going to do just a couple of little flatbreads out of our cow fathead. I was going to do like a paratha sort of style, but I didn't have enough cauliflower and spring onions and thyme to prepare everything. So I'm just going to do some flatbreads, but I will show you how simple it would be to fold them over and turn them into like a little aloo, fake aloo, that's potato, paratha for serving with the Punjabi. But anyway, let's have a quick look and see that you can actually see me. I'm guessing so. Let's refresh my screen. Alright, there I am in a green shirt. I'll just open that up. And I can see Linda is on her way to Bali and her flights are delayed, so she's watching, I'm guessing, from her phone. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it. If anyone's got any questions, please ask and pop them in the chat box today. And I will just go from there. I'll explain some of the ingredients to you, and we will be doing a few things a little bit differently because I'm going to cook this in the Thermomix today, and for anyone that's watching that doesn't have one, you don't need one. On the stovetop, any curry is quite easy, right? Because you can see it, it's in a pan. So the instructions for traditional methods are here. It is as simple as only 3 steps in the entire recipe. This is like the recipe all printed out here from the cookbook. And yeah, it's all just done in the one pan. So it's a 1-pot curry, very, very simple, very, very flavoursome. All the ingredients are from the supermarket, so there's nothing, I'm just looking. About the only thing that I always suggest that we use in Indian cooking is the Kashmiri chili, which is in some supermarkets, but not all. I just buy mine from any Asian market. There's a few local to me, so I just grab some in bulk and I just put it in a container and I vacuum seal the rest of it. So then I've got some, but you can get little bags of it, and I know Herbies have it and there's lots of places online, okay? It is a mild chili powder, so you can use mild chili. If you like spicy, you can add spicier chili, or you can leave it out completely, okay? But I do always recommend just trying a bit, you know, push yourself to try these recipes the way they're intended to be, and then tweak them, because we know something spicy with Indian, we can always cool it down with some nice yogurt or raita or something like that. So anyway, I'm gonna get started on the cauliflower rice first, because we're going to steam that on top of the thermi. This is the beauty of actually having this for me while I do a live, is just that I can do everything in one, and you're not hearing all the sizzling and stuff like that going on if it's in a pan, and I'm not getting covered in curry and goo. So at the moment, I've just put some cauliflower in here. I didn't measure how much this would be, but it's probably around about 2 cups. And I'm just going to chop it, and I'm going to take it out and put a little bit of oil and a little bit of the spices that I've got for the curry through it, and put it in a steaming basket. If you were doing this for just conventional methods, to make cauliflower rice, it can be as simple as grating it. So use a grater and grate it. Just finely chop, 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 and you'll have it. Or putting it in any food processor and just pulsing it till it gets to the size grain that you like. I like mine some bits slightly chunkier than rice. I like to have like some to be like kibble sort of consistency, and some to be like a little bit cubey. But anyway, I'm just going to stop that because I can see, oh no, I don't need to press that button. That's telling me to update. That would be silly. Okay, so I'm just going to do this one for anyone that's in Thermi people. I'm just going to do that for 4 seconds, speed 5. And that will just be a quick chop. I've just realised I haven't got my microphone, so I might just get Dave to come and grab them. They're on the table and I can put them on so you might be able to hear me a bit better too. They're just over there on top of that box I can see. So one has to go into the camera. Oh yeah, they're there. The one without the cord goes on me. That one, that little microphone we don't need. Okay, so I'll grab that one. And if you can plug that one into the phone. And there's a little button on the bottom of it. It's like a circle. You should be able to turn on and you'll be able to see that it's working.
Which one?
It's a round one. Where is this? Yeah, it should be that one. Alright, if you just plug that in. Hopefully it should yeah, a little bit. Over the top once. Can you see on that camera thing, on the little screen on that GoPro thing that it's moving now? So everyone can hear me a bit better now, probably? Okay, so yeah, I'm hoping that sound, yeah, I can see it's bouncing up and down, so it's definitely hearing the sound fine. Okay, so we've just chopped our cauliflower, and as you can see, it's now into like kind of like a rice consistency. It's very easy to do with any of your home choppers or food processors, or like I said, a grater works just as well. It's just using an appliance that I have to the best of its ability. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little drizzle of oil to this. Usually I just steam it plain, but I thought, oh, I might just season it up a little bit. This is my spice mix for the Punjabi. I'm just going to put in like maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of that. And I've got some chicken stock paste here, which people make their own, or you don't have to do this. Like I said, it's just me mucking around. And I'm just going to put in, like say, a quarter of a teaspoon, which is usually goes with about a quarter of a cup of liquid. So it's usually 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of liquid. The one I use is Urban Forager. I use all of their stocks. And I do know that many of them, many supermarkets now stock it as well. So have a look around. So I'm just going to stir that in. Not mix it in with the mixer, I'm just going to stir it in because I don't want it to get chopped anymore. And then I'm just going to pop that into the basket. So this is just the steaming dish. So if you are a person who has a thermal cooker and you look at any of our thermal methods in the cooking cookbook and it says to put into the steaming basket or the steaming dish, this is what I'm talking about. The one that goes inside there is a simmering one. It goes inside. Steamers go on top. Okay? Anyway, we've got that and that's just ready to go onto the chicken later. So I'm just going to move that out of my way and hopefully I don't knock that over because I kind of run out of space when I put my computer in the kitchen. I don't normally have that in the kitchen as well. And as you can see, it's limited space. I've got a good sized kitchen for a normal cook, but maybe a little bit too small for me. But anyway. So what we're going to do is now we're just going to get the chicken started because that cauliflower I'm going to steam for part of the cooking time for the chicken as well. So what I've got here is I've just got the onion, garlic and ginger. And I'm just going to chuck that in there. I've got some olive oil. You can use ghee, any kind of oil that you like. Butter if you want. And I didn't have a whole tomato, but I had these. I love these for photos if you hadn't noticed. So I always have these kicking around somewhere. So I'm just going to pop in my equivalent of a tomato. I could weigh that in if I wanted to. I'm not too fussed. If I didn't have these, I could just use tin tomatoes, which I always have, or some of the tomato sauce that I make, which is sugar-free anyway. I've got some in cubes in the freezer, so I wouldn't be going without for any of that anyway. Who's like me that goes to make something and then finds out honestly, in this, the only fresh ingredients is onion, garlic and ginger. You might already have pre-chopped or in a paste in your fridge or freezer, and chicken, and the tomato. So yeah, I didn't have one of those fresh ingredients, which is pretty typical of Megan. But anyway, just so I don't have to re-clean this board, I'm just going to stop for 1 second. I'm just going to quickly chop this parsley, which you'll see that I have out for a particular reason for later. So I'll just quickly chop that up, because we all know we don't chop anything fresh on a board that's just had raw chicken on it. So I hadn't thought of that one. I have a lot of boards, but like I said, my space is already getting smaller and smaller with everything that I get ready for the next step, so it's nice and smooth live. It's great when you're doing video and cutting and pasting, because I can just have things out and, you know, shoot one part, move the next bit, wash up, whatever. But when you're doing things live, you need to have everything handy and not be racing off camera to get microphones and stuff like that. But anyway, okay, so I've just got that parsley done. I just wanted to get that chopped and out of the way. I'll just grab a little bowl and pop that in there. It doesn't matter if any of that gets on my chicken, it's only a herb, so I'm not particularly bothered by that. So we don't even have to put the chicken in yet. I don't even know why I'm doing that. I could have just done that in the meantime anyway. So we've got our onion, garlic, ginger, oil into the mixer, and I'm just going to mix that one. Yeah, I've got everything in there. Just making sure, if you watch my last live, I did forget an egg. And funnily enough, I forgot an egg today. Not in a recipe yet, but I hadn't pulled one out. So this one is just chopped for 3 seconds speed 6. You want to turn it into a paste. So if you're cooking this at home, you can finally chop all that on the board and stick it straight into your pan. You could use a stick blender, like my noise, just in case you missed it. NutriBullets, blenders, food processor, whatever. It's basically just, you'll see it in a second, I'll show you. We're just turning it into like a mushy liquid, because the one thing you'll find in this recipe is I actually don't add any liquid to it, but it makes a really nice sauce. So you can scrape down the sides. I'm not going to be particularly bothered. I'm going to put that on for 4 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's 4 minutes. So I'll be showing you how to do it, but I'm not going to give you the full recipe because it is an exclusive to our book and a lot of people have paid for it. So that's just the way it is. We're doing that 110. We're going to take that lid out and we're putting that on to speed 1. Okay, so that's just going to cook away. And I've got my cauliflower ready. I've got my chicken on, and now I'm going to cut the chicken. I've got my Punjabi started, sorry. I'm going to put that one over to here because I don't need that till later. So I've got my chicken here. I've just kept a few slices out to show you how to slice, and I've sliced the other ones already just because you don't need to see me chop up 900 grams of chicken. But you'll see like they're thigh fillets that I'm using, and you can use bone in. Bone in is really good in Indian curries because it just is more moist and I think it adds more flavour and definitely a little extra collagen on that to the mix. But thighs are usually roughly, I find, around about 150 grams. I don't know what these weigh, but they're babies. But if you have a standard one, what I would do, like let's just say if this was a full size one, I would cut it in 3 strips that way, okay? So just cut that into thirds, and that's how I would cut a chicken to go in any curry, because when it's cooking for like 15 to 20 minutes, it's going to get really tender and a little bit's going to break off. So the smaller you chop it, the smaller it will end up in the end. So you want it to be a nice big pieces. You could still, so like here's my slices now. You can see it's like a finger. You could leave these whole if you wanted to. Like I said, if you were using bone-in cutlets, you'd be throwing that in whole. If you were using a bone-in cutlet in a thermal cooker like this, I would put in a blade cover just to be safe, because there's little bits of chicken bone. If one just splinters off, won't be too nice. Goes down the wrong way. So yeah, I'm just basically cutting these ones in half, but you be the judge of your size. But yeah, you want like a nice strip like that. Like I said, that is likely to break off here during the cooking process. Wow, I'm getting a little bit of spices in my eyes. Let's see that I don't cry again, because I've done that before while we've been on camera. Okay, so we've got our chicken Ready. Now, I thought, what goes nice, let's just move this over to here. What goes nice with a curry all the time, in my opinion, is bread. I actually can forget the rice at any given time, even when I ate rice back in the early days. But I love naan and keto naan. Like, obviously I don't eat normal naan anymore, but I thought I'll make a flatbread. Just a really nice, simple flatbread. Everybody likes a little bit of flatbread. And like I said, we could do a paratha that's a filled bread. So when you see me make this, you'll see some other ways that you can just change it just a little bit to your own way. So I'm doing our basic fathead, which is 250 grams of cheese and mozzarella and 60 grams of cream cheese. So I've got that in there. It was very rough because I kind of ran out. You can see I've got some cubes here of jack cheese. Ran out of mozzarella. Again, just noticing these things just as you're about to go live, but hey, that's just what I do. I'm just going to put that on for about 2 minutes. It's a bit cold in here today. It's like the middle of spring and it's damn cold. But the good thing is like if you're getting the book now at the moment, there is a good blend of recipes for all seasons. So, I mean, realistically, it could have been simply delicious for all seasons because we've got, things for winter, like a curry. But for me, this one is like a really good one that you could serve light with just like some lime. There's a cauliflower and lime and cilantro or coriander rice that would go really well with this. This is really nice cold as well. It could be cold and on a wrap or mixed in with like a spoon salad. If you've got our Keto Mojo, this has got like an amazing spoon salad that I even add ice to. Which sounds really crazy, but if you've got that book, when it gets a little bit warmer, make that recipe. You'll love me. Okay, so now we're just going to add our spices first. Yes, Megan? So now we add our spices, and I'm going to just add in this spice mix. So it's like got a bit of garam masala, curry powder, stock, cumin, coriander, all those sort of things. Got some white pepper and salt flakes. So remember, it's salt flakes, not iodized salt or table salt. Now I've got some green. I'll show you the packet, not the packet, the actual container. I've got them in a second. Green cardamom pods, a couple of them. And I've got two, they're either called black or brown. If you see either, they're the same thing as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but pretty sure that black and brown are exactly the same product. Cardamom pods. So there they are in the containers. You can see they're completely different. They've got completely different flavour profiles and that as well too. I will admit, when you put it in a curry like I just did then, it can be a bitch to find them and fish them out later so you don't chew on it. But if you've got the, I just looked to see if I had any in my cupboard, and I know I have some somewhere, but couldn't remember where I put them. The tea bags that you can get to make your own tea. If you put one in one of those and just put a little bit of twine around it, or just even make a little, what do you call it, cheesecloth, muslin, little piece, and then tie that with twine too. You can just pop that in there with any spices when you're cooking. So like if you've got things like, not in this, but in star anise, cinnamon quills, all those sort of things, you can tie them together and then you don't have to go fishing for them later. God, where did I put that? Damn spatula. There it is. Okay, so this is my cheese and cream cheese. Just gonna mix that one up, and I'll just get my egg mixture in there first. So you can see like when this is ready, it's really nice, cheesy and gooey. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that for 1 second. And then I haven't added my curry yet, my chili powder, which I'd already told you about. I used the yellow curry powder, which is also in the book. So there's one that you can actually make yourself, or you can use our Malaysian meat curry powder from the website, or you can use any curry powder or curry paste that you like in it as well. So I'll just get that on because that's just going to be the spices. Is it just the spices at this place time? Yeah. And we're going to stick that on for, let's see, 3 minutes. Oops. No, better do that now. 3 minutes. 100. So I was supposed to stick that in first. Okay, so that's on. Anyway, now get back to my bread. So this cheese is not going cold. You add a couple of eggs. We're going to add a tablespoon of baking powder. You always know I always use Bob's Red Mill. I was going to say Bob and Pete's. If you're from Newcastle or from Sydney, you'll know Bob and Pete's like do focaccia bread and stuff. I used to work in restaurants and stuff like that, but it's been a long time since I thought of Bob and Pete's. Anyway, put it that way. So I'm just going to put like 1.5 tablespoons in. So this is the beauty of this one. It doesn't have the aluminium taste. It doesn't have a bitter taste, and it's great for low carb keto baking and cooking. So when I add these, there's magic that happens. See, like you can see, this is low. Watch. You can hear. It's all starting to foam up. It even looks like meringue. So like you can see, like it's totally changed its consistency. This is the magic behind our fat head. Everyone always does it in the wrong order. You can see it's like completely different thing now. It's like crazy. Anyway, we're going to add a teaspoon of xanthan gum. It doesn't taste slimy in this, I promise. I put a whole teaspoon even in this mixture. What it does is it gives it gluten-like structures. It really gives more of a bread texture to this. And then I'm going to add in 150 grams of almond meal or almond flour. And then you'll hear, oopsie, you can hear it almost. I'm trying not to get my hair in. Get the hair around the other side. It's like popping, like it's in a bath and salt's being thrown on bubble bath. So anyway, I'm just now mixing this up. So everything's in there. If you wanted to do a yeasted one, you would add a tablespoon of warm water with a tablespoon of inulin and a sachet of instant yeast, and you just activate that for 15 minutes before you pop it in here, and you would mix it in at the same stage that you add the eggs and the baking powder. It just makes it distribute better throughout the mixture. Alrighty, you can see that this is really coming together really quickly, so I'm just going to show you as much as you can see from a camera all the way over there. But you can see like I push down with a spatula, and that is to make sure that this is a nice even dough, so that when I go to take this out, should be in 1 minute, we will have a beautiful dough. Just taking all the extra bits that are on my fingers off, so you can see, perfect dough, okay? Now I'll just get rid of that one. So if you've ever had any problems making any fathead or any from else, that is pretty much the exact same recipe that I use in a lot of different recipes. So before we roll out this bread, we're going to get the next step of our curry done. So we've put in all of our spices, and now all we've got to do is we've got to pop in our chicken. So we can see here, if I just grab that spatula again, it's like a paste. So that's going to add all the flavour, and the chicken itself is going to provide all the liquid that we need. And hopefully by putting cauliflower on the top of it, I don't do something weird to it. But anyway, we'll see. I'm obviously not afraid to do boo-boos while I'm on camera, am I? It's the one thing I do. When I pop in my chicken, I just like to, I have this thing about just mixing things, I guess, because I'm like so old school that, you know, I'm used to cooking things in pots, as many of us are. So I just like to make sure I try and get all of that around the chicken. Alrighty. So now we're just going to pop that back on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that on, I'm going to pop my lid on. Anyone who is following that's got the book and already knew that I did a bit of a boo-boo, but we won't talk about that, will we? I'm going to stick on my cauliflower. Because hopefully, like, there's no liquid in here, but hopefully it should help to steam it. And I'm going to just stick that on for 12 minutes. Now this cooks at 100. I'm pretty sure it cooks at 100. Yeah, it cooks at 100 degrees. And I can tell you now, like I know a lot of people are really loving this recipe. This one took a few goes to get it this good, right? Like some people liked one that I'd made that was soupy, but they all made it again and said, yeah, this is the one, so much flavour, so, right amount of spice, restaurant quality, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we put that into reverse. We're doing it cap off, which we've got that on the thing, and we're just doing a slower speed, which is just the little spoon button or stir button, depending on whatever model you've got. Okay, I'm just going to move that over to there. Move that lime out of the way. So for anyone joining in, the Simply Delicious book is now in pre-sales. We are cooking from that today of the Punjabi chicken. The other two recipes, the cauliflower rice is on my website, and my fat head is on the website, which you will get a lot of different ideas from me for how to use this dough. So I am, for now, going to cut this into 6. They don't need to be equal. You can see it's just simple. Move that hair out of the way. Roll it into a ball. I'm going to do a round, and we're going to just do a basic one. I'll just show you what I would do for a basic one to go into the oven. Okay, so I've rolled that out. It's probably about 2 to 3 mil thick, and I have a couple of things here that I'm going to show you some different ones with. So I've got a ring cutter here. I just got this off Amazon. So you can get those off Amazon or cake places, I'm sure, food places. They're called, I think they're called a cake cutting ring. It's how I get like really nice edges to things, right? So with that, oh, did I get extra baking paper? No, I did not. We'll just put that one on there. Now, if I was going to do a filled one, I would fill half, fold it over, press down the edges, and cook this the same way. You can bake it in an oven. Now, I've got my oven at 240 degrees Celsius, and that's fan forced, okay? So you just put it up to about 260 in a conventional, and around 500 and something Fahrenheit. I always need to use my scale, which we put in the book, all the temperatures for you, so you can see in one snapshot for every single recipe, static oven, fan oven, and Fahrenheit. So we cover everyone off. But yeah, you can fold that over and you can cook it that way. You can also cook this in the pan, so you can cook it in any griddle pan, skillet, crepe pan. You can cook it in a toasted sandwich maker. You can cook it in the Aldi roti makers, which I know a lot of people like to use those. Just turn the temperature down when you're cooking these. You want it to, like, probably about a third of the way you want to have it. And just test to see what the perfect temperature is for you to do it. What I like to do when I'm doing this so it doesn't stick in the pan is I just have my pizza plate in there, and I just chuck it in the oven, and I'm just going to set my timer for 2 minutes. Oopsie, not my temperature. And I put that on for 3 minutes. And I'll take that out. I'm just going to grab another piece of paper because I'm going to keep running back and forward otherwise. I have to go over there. I've got one that's so big it doesn't even fit in the drawer. Obviously, I go through a bit. I've bought the silicone liners that can go into your pans, which is great. But I haven't tried them for rolling yet. Has anyone done that? I don't know. Anyway, another way you can do it. I know everybody likes their tortilla presses. So I'll show you how you can do it in that without baking paper as well. So I use my trusty Ziploc bag that I've split in half. I put the one half of it onto the bottom of my, I'll just roll this back into a ball. I think this is going to be huge, so I might just take off some of that. And roll it into a ball. Then I'm going to put it into the center of the plastic, and then I'm going to cover it with the plastic. There is apparently, someone was saying there is silicone things that you can get for this now. I haven't seen them, but I've been doing this for more years than I would care to say. And then you just use your hand and press, and as I said, it's like really big. So you can now just pop that one in on your oven plate. I just didn't want to test it while I'm live to see that it's not going to stick on there. But that's 2 ways to do your rounds. But other than that, you could just shape this into anything that you want. So we have the variation of like the focaccia ones in the book for the pizzas, and I actually like a long, we might even do that with the rest of it. And what I'll do is I will sprinkle on some nigella seeds when it's just about done. You can just pop that there. I should be able to pick that up off it later. So I'm just going to roll this out roughly. You don't, when you roll fathead for anything, don't ever leave it too thick. The consistency that we use with all the ingredients that I use, it keeps it dry and it's not really a fatty one. I know that there was ones that I tried when I started and ones that I tried to create myself and I hated them. But this one is not really fatty. So, but there is a secret for anything that you do is not to make it too thick. Like if you're going to make our scroll, say for instance, you make it too thick, you're just going to end up with these things that fall apart and it's going to taste gritty in the way of almond meal than, a nice flat bread. So anyway, I'm just going to roll this out a little bit and not knock that off the table. Let's have a look and see how our bread's going. So we can see, remembering this oven's really super hot, just going to give that 1 more minute. And then you'll see how pretty it is, as it is. I could probably chuck that other one in there with it, to be honest. Let's see if there's room. No. After all that. Whenever I roll out dough for, or a batter for, I don't know, would you call it cookie dough? Yeah. Okay, cookies or crackers, whenever I'm going to roll them out and I'm going to season them, I always do this. I know some of you have probably watched me a few times and see that I do this quite a lot and say it quite a lot, but I don't think I can say it enough because it's really frustrating if you got to stick all these on, right? Like, and I'm sure I did this when I used to bake pre-keto and sesame seeds would just fall off the loaf or whatever. But particularly when we're not using, because this one is an unyeasted one and it's not having any proving time or anything like that because it's got no yeast in it anyway, it doesn't get trapped anywhere. There will be little bits of fat that will help stick, but the best thing you can do is just like run your rolling pin back over or press with your hands and all the seasoning sticks so then it doesn't come off. Okay. So I'll just grab a pair of tongs so I don't burn myself. So I've got a lovely little flatbread here. I'm just going to pop that there for now. We'll pop this other one in because it only takes a few minutes. And then I'll do the other one. So with this, to serve with our chicken, I am going to get a plate. We'll just use one of our lovely basket plates. And I've got a little bit of butter here and garlic. I'm just going to melt that one down. You would use ghee. I just didn't have any, again, so I'm just using what I have. I might have some coconut ghee in the back of my pantry, but I couldn't see any. I'll have a quick look and see if there's any questions in a minute. Let's see how that's going. No, it's just garlic. Just stir that around. I don't want it to... Got that. So again, if you don't have a microwave, stovetop, easy. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little bit of extra time. I'll just pop that on there because a little bit of garlic butter on there is fine. This is kind of based on how I used to do pizza bases back in the day. I used to like to make your traditional pizza base with yeast or sourdough starter, and then I'd bake it blind, and then I'd baste it in like oil with herbs and chili, which is my favourite way of doing it, and like, you know, a little bit of salt and pepper or something like that. Usually like a chili salt, not like salt. So I've got, this is like just a garlic butter, but I might want to put some chili flakes in there. I could put some more Nigella if I wanted to. And we've got, oh no, we'll just sprinkle that on top. So you could just brush that with a little bit of butter. I would do this not to go in the oven, but after, because otherwise it's going to make it cook and burn a lot quicker. And then just, a scattering of herbs. So I just used parsley from the garden and a little bit of coriander from my garden. So it's just a mixture that you could easily just cut up into portions. So you can imagine if I'd cut that in half, we do the same, and you'd have like a nice little dunker to go into your curry. I have a plate over here, so I'm going to pop these little tackers on my plate to go with my curry. Perfect for cleaning up the last bit of the sauce, the masala in the bottom, or I just like to actually have the bread with the yogurt. I eat the curry just by the spoonful, and then I actually would just put the yogurt on the. Just checking to make sure I'm not like restricting that. It's looking good in there. But yeah, it's like I like to just have the bread and the yogurt separate. I was going to do, now in the book too, there is a mango chutney that we've made. It's a sugar-free mango chutney, and it only has like a little bit of freeze-dried mango in it, like the tiniest little bit. But I was going to actually mix that with some yogurt too. So that would go great with this. So you could actually have like the chutney with this dish, with those breads that we just made. Or you could make the focaccia from the caramelized onion pizza and serve that with it, and then have the mango chutney and the yogurt and the curry. So that would be really good. So let's have a look. It's freezing. It's so cold. Like, it's funny. For those of you who don't know, I have been a little bit preoccupied lately. My mum went into hospital on the 23rd of August, and she is still in hospital, would you believe? So yeah, it was not a good time. Yes, for a little while there. It was touch and go. She had a major blood clot to her lung, and now she's going into aged care. So I've been out trying to do those sort of things, and I just keep forgetting everything and that. But she was complaining, saying to me, I think it was yesterday, she just moved to a private hospital, and it's like, it's so cold here. And I'm like, okay, that steaming thing's not really working because it's just not enough liquid in there. It was a nice idea. Oh, we can steam it another way. Okay, now I'm just going to check this, and I'll show you what it's looking like at this stage. It's still not cooked. I can already tell just by the jiggle of the chicken. But we can see like those chicken pieces are all still nice and big. But we're starting to get a sauce, I don't know if I can, that comes from the liquid of the chicken itself. So essentially cooking it this way, and this is the same in the stove on a cooktop, is that it generates its own stock and sauce and gravy. It's really, really good. Okay, so we'll just put that on. Oh, wait, no, I'll chuck the rice back on there for the whole time. It might work for the whole time. 100 degrees. Reverse, make sure that's reverse, and stir. It's also probably that it's not circulating it because I've got it on stir. But anyway, we'll see. Otherwise, I just steam it another way. That is not part of the recipe, by the way. Like I said, everything that we do is tested so many times. But hey, this is how I come up with more things, is I'm not afraid to just have a go at things. Like, if you were doing this at home and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take Megan's curry and I'm going to steam my rice on top. Well, you might do that, but give yourself a little bit of extra time to chuck it in the microwave steamer. Like, my microwave's a combi oven and everything, and it's really good. It takes about 30 seconds to steam it. So yeah, it may or may not work, but it was worth a try. Okay, so here's our other little flat round. Put that one there. And let's just pop this whole one in. So we've got this one just with the Nigella seeds in there. I'll put that one on for 6 minutes. See how she goes. Okay, let's have a look. Alrighty, has anyone got any questions regarding the recipe? For alternatives on here, I have given you some alternatives and they are fabulous. So like I said, chicken on the bone can be used in place of the fillets. You can use hard-boiled eggs or tofu for a vegetarian or vegan option. So the hard-boiled eggs can be added to, and I go on to say that, after the sauce has been reduced. So reduce the sauce and then add hard-boiled eggs to it, and that will be like the best. What a great breakfast too. Spices can be swapped with our tikka masala paste. So there's also a tikka masala paste in the cookbook that you can use in place of all of the spices. And it's even at the point, like when this is finished cooking, it actually has a rest time to thicken, because we don't actually like, where say in a butter chicken or something, you might add almond meal or a thickener. It just needs to rest, and because you can see we actually haven't added any stock or anything like that, and the liquid just will suck up and the flavors will just bloom. It's just such a good recipe. But yeah, those hard-boiled eggs can be added at any of those stages after it's been reduced, and just cook it for a little bit longer. You could even do soft-boiled eggs and then put that into the like the rested sauce. Got it right. And then when you cut them open, it will, you know, amalgamate with the sauce and create even more of a gravy and that as well too. You could do that with, like I said, there's the tofu. So I would use a firm tofu, and you could fry the tofu off, or you could put the tofu straight in, like a medium or a firm tofu. To be honest, I've never cooked the tofu. I think I have, but I can't remember. It would have been in a stir fry kind of thing. I haven't done one in like a masala or a gravy. I would pan fry it and then I'd pop it in, or just again pop it in depending on which tofu that you're using and how you prefer it. Add it into the sauce once it's reduced and allow it to sit covered. Like for thermo users, you could use one of your thermo servers. I never get that right. I think that's right. Server or saver. And put the lid on it, and that will heat it through. So that's really nice. With the eggs, I think it would be really nice with something like halloumi as well, and a nice squeeze of lime or lemon. It'd be amazing, and loads of fresh coriander. I know some of you are like going, no, don't spoil it. But I love my coriander. But if you don't, just use fresh flat leaf parsley. Please don't use curly leaf parsley. Anyone that likes curly parsley, oh my God, like that stuff tastes like dirt, if you ask me. So, like I said, so you can see like this bread, it's like a really good bread that you can just like tear off and dip into any kind of sauce. It even smells amazing, to be honest, and that one's even got nothing on it. But again, like if you wanted to do those as filled breads to go with this, I would steam the cauliflower, not this way, because you can see there's a little bit of heat coming through there, but not enough to probably steam it in the time frame that we're going to cook this chicken. But if you steam the cauliflower till it's soft, mix it in with a little bit of ghee, a little bit of garam masala. So let's just say we're going to work on 1 cup of cauliflower rice, cooked, softened. I would use a half a tablespoon of ghee, about a quarter to a half a teaspoon of garam masala, depending on what you like. You could add a little bit of Kashmiri chili or chili flakes. I would fry off, I'm looking at them out my window because I grow them in the garden, 1 to 2 green onions, so like your spring onions or your shallots, whichever you prefer to call them. Just cut them into thin slices, fry them in the pan. You could even put your garam masala or spices in there and cook that off as well. Even a little bit of ginger or garlic, or this sounds really wrong, but I like the Thai mixture from Gourmet Garden from the supermarket. So you're putting Thai in with Indian, but I think that would be really good. So I'm going to move that cauliflower. Yeah, don't try and steam the cauliflower when it's only at slower speed. So I'm not going to take that lid off because I'm going to actually turn that off. I've heard that once that gets taken off now, if I do the update, it will stop ding, ding, dinging. which I said I've already got to change it because my other one only ding, ding, dings 3 times. I'm just going to grab another spatula because Megan's the worst at looking for things, especially when it's black and it's in a black kitchen. So, it smells so good. I'm going to pour it. I think I've got an easy to find thermoserver in this crazy cupboard down here. You can see I have like 5 trillion of everything. And I use them all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it in here so you can actually see the consistency of this, okay? So you've just seen me, it's cooked for 20 minutes. And you can see it is this beautiful, thick gravy, as they call it, Indian. Nice, thick, chunky pieces. So as I said, like some pieces you can see have broken into smaller pieces, but you can still see there's some nice big pieces still intact, but not too big to eat. I mean, normally when we're eating a curry, you could eat this with a spoon and still cut it with a spoon anyway, but you're not eating necessarily with a spoon. I would eat this with a fork and then clean up all the leftover gravy with my little breads that I just made. So this could be served straight away as it is, but I just think that resting and then serve it with some lime juice and coriander, and it's amazing. So I'm just going to put the lid on that for a moment. Ooh, look at my bread, it's all puffed up. So if you want to avoid this when making breads when they're bigger with a fat head, you get the pastry dough rollers. They're called a pastry docker, and they'll put little holes in the bread and actually stop it from rising up like that. Another pair of tongs I need. And I'm just checking the bottom of this one. It's really still soft, so it needs longer. I'll just give it a couple extra minutes. If I had space, I'd be taking it out, flipping it out over here, but we'll just leave it. So yeah, and that when they get bigger, they're actually better suited to lowering the temperature and cooking it for longer at a lower temp. So I would normally cook any of those roughly around about the 170, 180 degrees. You'll always find I have a pocket for 170 and a fan. I don't know why. I like that kind of temperature. And I tend to just turn things on when I'm testing things at 170 and then just see the time. You know, some things I play around with, like shortbreads and things like that, to see where that, or cake, where that best temperature is. But yeah, so you can see like nice big chunky bits. So I'll do is I'll just bring over my tray. So here's my lovely tray. And if we were to just serve some of this. So I have a butter chicken recipe that is on our website that is incredible. It's been a very popular recipe for a long time, and it's had a little bit of a, well, it had a facelift about a year or so ago with some photos, and I probably need some more now. If you notice, I get handier with my camera for sure. That is a lot of chicken. I wouldn't eat all that anyway, but it just looks good in that plate. Don't always judge my plating in photos by what the serving size is. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but I think, and I know that some of the girls were watching, I think this one actually could be better. I really like it. Okay, I think this is going to have to come out so I can flip it carefully because we've just done it at that higher temperature. And hopefully if I lift it by the paper doesn't disintegrate. All right, that'll be fine. Put that on there. So this is, like I said, it should, I don't know, that's all cooked anyway. So again, That one, oh, see now that paper is starting to disintegrate. This one I would just slice up, still like into the same sort of portion size, things that are nice and easy that you could, like I said, if I was going to have this and just grab some of that, you can see that's quite easy to eat. So I'll just see that one there. I'll just add a little scoop of yogurt. Oh, I said yogurt like I was English or something. And again, squeeze of lime, which we've got here that I haven't cut, and loads of coriander leaves. Coriander is amazing. So we have some curry now. These sort of things, this same fat head can be used in pie makers. So you could actually like put the pastry into a cold pie maker, pop your curry inside, put a top on it and cook it all into a pie, which is a great way to have it as well. You could do that cold and stick it inside some and try and bake it, but it would probably go soggy on the bottom, but still taste good. But yeah, that is probably my favorite way to eat it, with a squeeze of this and plenty of fresh herbs. So simple. As you can see, it pretty much only takes 25 minutes to cook in that. And it was spices, chicken, onion, garlic, ginger, tomato paste, tomatoes. That's it. Nothing out of the ordinary. The green, cardamom pods are available in the supermarket. I buy the ones that are in the little sachets by Hoyt's. They're next to the ones that are in jars. I'm not sure if they're in jars as well. These ones are from an Indian market store. Sorry, so these aren't in the supermarket. If you've got any Asian markets near you, grab a bag next time you're there. You can use these in a few of our, like we've got our tikka masala as well, and our butter chicken that you can use them in. And there's probably a few recipes in my books that have the occasional one of these and that as well too. This is not my first lot. This is about my 6th or 7th lot. So you will use them and they really add a lovely flavour to the dish. When you find them in here, when I tend to scoop it out, I pull them out straight away. I go fishing for them. But like I said, if you use the little tea bag trick that I told you about, or a little muslin patch that you just use some cooking twine and throw it in. You can even in a thermi, you can actually like hang it off the edge so it doesn't even go down to the bottom, just as long as it's in a liquid, and it will permeate that flavour through. Or you can put it in a simmering basket if there's enough liquid. In this case it's not, but like if you were cooking it in like a butter chicken or something like that, you can pop them in the basket and they'll actually sit above so they don't go into the meal. But yeah. So what do you think? Does that look nice and tasty and easy? It would have been good if I had a little bit of greens. I'll just sprinkle some of the parsley on the top. So I think that looks just gorgeous. I love the coriander. Is this a hot curry or a mild one? Okay, Tony, it is mild. So it uses Kashmiri chili powder. This in the supermarket, you will just look for a mild chili powder. So you can just use just normal chili powder. Use any that you like. I use the full 2 teaspoons that was in the recipe of this one. But like I said, Kashmiri is mild. Some people might think, oh, it's Indian. It's got to be spicy and hot. Spice is not heat. Spice is spice. Cinnamon is spice, but it's not hot. Well, it can be, but it's not hot. If you know what I mean. So, no, it's not a hot curry. But you can dial it up as much as you like, dial it down. So like I said, you can reduce that amount of curry in it. I would honestly, for the amount of serves that you get out of this, and it is like a 4 to 6, I think I've written in the book, for, like you can see what's there. If you're going to serve that with rice and that, you're going to be 4 humongous serves. So, you know, they're generous serves. When we work out the servings for the book and that as well too, I give the recipe to our testers and I actually say, you know, tell me how long it took you to prepare, how long it cooked, you know, flavours, rating out of 5 for this, rating out of 5 for that. But one of the things is, how many serves do you think it will serve? Now, sometimes that is different for some people. Some people go, I think it's 4 serves. And some people think, oh, it's definitely 8. You know, so some it might be 2. It's not 2 for that one, for sure. But yeah, that's 900 grams of chicken that's in this recipe. So, like I say, that is usually around about 6 large thigh fillets. So it just depends on, like I've seen recipes that people say, you know, one thigh fillet with a couple of veggies is one serve. And I'm like, well, no, it's not. That was one serve for me. One serve of this with some rice and a little bit of bread, one chicken fillet would be more than enough. So it just depends on how you're going to serve something. Thank you. I will 100% try this. I have an Indian friend and she gave me the Kashmiri chili. Awesome. Have you used it? Because yeah, it's a lovely chili. Like I said, I buy, I think I got mine from iHerb, the last lot. You can buy the bigger bags and then I just put some into a container. So this is airtight container, label them. Like I've got some of my own labels now, but I could just write on it, whatever. And then I vac seal the remaining bags. So then it doesn't matter. You can put them in the freezer if you've got space. I don't. But I just try and get through everything that I've got and try and create recipes around the things that I've got in the pantry so we use them up. Yeah, awesome. Well, I like to hear what you think and I hope you like it and you get cooking with lots of them. Okay, so I think we've gone through everything. Anybody listening has been sleeping under a rock that doesn't know where got the book in pre-sales at the moment. The book is simply delicious. Got 115 recipes. The recipes in this book are mostly under 10 ingredients. Even this one that you can see that had more than 10 ingredients, most of them are out of your spice cupboard. And other than those brown cardamom pods and Kashmiri chili powder, which if you wanted to leave those out, you can, but I would absolutely recommend if you really like great Indian food and you want to make it at home, there is, how many ingredients? Any of my testers that are listening, I hope you can add some extras in there. Brown cardamom pods are one that you need to get. Nigella seeds is another one that I absolutely love. And kasuri methi or fenugreek leaves is things that I often get from Asian markets and they're always in my pantry and I use them a lot. So if you love Indian food and you want to make great Indian food at home, go and get those ingredients or find them online. And like I said, most Asian markets, they cost you only a couple of dollars. They're not expensive ingredients. And that's another thing about the book too. All the recipes we really worked on bringing the prices down. So some of the recipes that didn't make it, there is some amazing ones with like scallops. But when we were testing, I think scallops went up to, I think they were $80 or $90 a kilo. I wasn't saying have a kilo of them, but it was just too expensive. And I'm trying to like look at how much everything costs everybody, you know. So we really looked at, you know, wallet friendly ingredients, reusing as many of the ingredients throughout the book as we could too. So you'll find things with egg yolks and things with egg whites. And yeah, trying to reuse the spices and stuff like that. I've created good ones where you're using like even our yellow curry powder that's in the book. This is using ingredients that you've probably got in your pantry today. And probably things that would get expired if you didn't make it into your own curry powder. And we go and buy curry powder, right? Well, why do we need to do that when we can make our own? So you can now use this recipe for this yellow curry from the book. And we've got the Malaysian meat curry recipe on the website. And then we did a Thai yellow curry paste and a tikka masala paste. So you can use either of those in this as well. So we've really tried to work on things that will mix and match. I wanted to add in extra things of like, you know, a whole page on swapping different recipes. Like we had the chicken parmy that's in here. We've got a tray baked chicken parmigiana that we do with an Italian tomato sugo. Again, very, very simple recipe that you can make in there, or you can just use diced tomatoes. I give you these options so you can actually make our sugo, or you can just use straight tomato paste if you wanted to and add a little bit of Italian herbs. But we even had testers trying it with the kick-ass barbecue sauce that's in here as well too. So, or, you know, the chipotle rib sauce and stuff. So there is different things that you can use within the book. The mango chutney, I actually wanted to do a mango chutney chicken in here as well too, which was just going to be a tray baked chicken. You could do this same sort of thing with this. Dice up your thighs, whack it through the mango chutney and a few extra spices, put it into the oven or into a stir fry. You've got a beautiful Indian mango chicken. But yeah, that was the kind of things that we were doing, is trying to keep things as cheap and as simple as we can, but giving you restaurant quality food that you can make without any chefy crap. There's nothing in here that's too fancy. Anything that was slightly fancy of like maybe a slicing technique like julienning, and I think there's enough people that buy cookbooks these days that have watched an episode of MasterChef or Iron Chef. I know that that's on one of the channels that I'm on at the moment. I don't watch any of them anymore, but like I know that they tend to show you basic cutting skills, but I have even written in the book how to actually do that for you. So we're trying to make things as simple as possible. For those of you who saw that I cooked with a Thermomix today, it's not a Thermomix cookbook. It does have Thermomix methods for nearly every single recipe in here, albeit I think 3. But it is mainly for conventional cooks as well, that you can use, as I've been explaining all the way through this. You can use pots, pans, the method's in there for it. So the first method in every recipe is a conventional cooking method, so you don't need to have anything fancy at home to cook the recipes. Each recipe is in, I've got the wrong book. This is just a fake cover. But every recipe in our cookbooks has full colour photography. You can see that there's a couple of methods there. We have extensive notes wherever needed. Some might only have a couple of lines because it's a basic recipe that you just go like, it's a no-brainer. But when I say it's a no-brainer in a basic recipe, it's the way I think. But this is why we have testers, to see that they find it simple and easy and that as well too. And I don't have to, tell people how to suck eggs to make it, kind of thing. But yeah, we try and keep everything simple. There's the macros and that for you, how many serves there is for every recipe. Everything has its weights. We've put in things for US customary and a metric, because those of you who go, you're Australian, why do you do all these other things for American? We don't just cater to to Australia, of course. We're an international business where we have people from all over the world, which is amazing. It is like so cool how the internet connects us. But yeah, that's all that you get in the book. If you order today, there is a whole heap of bonuses and chances of different things for our pre-orders up until those pre-orders close off. And you get the ebook immediately of the cookbook. So as soon as you order, you'll get a receipt, and in that receipt is a download link that you can actually open up and save to your device, and you can begin cooking straight away. If you're not somebody that uses those devices, you could still use it and look through for ingredients that you might need to start to look at what you've got like in your spice cupboard, grabbing the Indian thing so you can make the Punjabi chicken, or starting to plan your meals when the book arrives and you're ready to go. You're like, right, I've got my meal plans already, and it could even just be something that you flick through while you're in bed. I've been getting some great messages from different people like saying, oh my God, like I stayed up half the night looking through everything that was in the book. It's so beautiful, or whatever, or, I was reading it in the dark in bed. Like, I love that one, because I do things like that all the time. I'm like, well, I don't do things for work. When I go to bed, I just relax and play stupid games or whatever. But that is, it is good to have your cookbook at your fingertips in that way that you can do it. When you actually download it as well, this is a really neat feature that a lot of you probably don't even realize. With the recipe books, people say, why don't you have a jump to menu? Okay, so let's just say you're in there. If you want to look up Punjabi chicken, but you can't remember what it's called, but it's got chicken in it, right? If you type chicken into the search bar, once you've, when you downloaded the book, open it in the downloads. Don't open it from when it opens in another tab. So you've saved it to your, let's just say your laptop or your iBooks, and you open it in either your downloads photo, your iBooks, your Google Doc, your Dropbox, whatever. It'll actually have a search button, usually in the top right. If you write chicken in there, it will come up with every recipe in there that with chicken. If you are going to say mango chutney, you could write mango chutney. Don't know that it's a chutney, just write mango. Any of our books are searchable via that. So the beauty of that is that you can actually search your entire book for an ingredient. So if you wanted to see, I've made the yellow curry powder, Megan, from your cookbook, how many recipes have it in it? You don't need to ask me that question. You go to your downloads. Even if you've got the book, this is a fast way of doing it. It's like your own Google index. You go to the book, you go to your search, and you put in yellow curry powder or yellow, because you keep it simple, because if like you do one little typo or put an extra letter in, it won't find anything, right? So just put in yellow and it'll come up with every single page that actually has those ingredients in it. So I don't know how many of you use that function, but that is how I look up stuff of my own when I'm like cross-indexing things for the recipes. And that is better than any jump to menu. That is actually to be able to search your book for anything. You could actually look up air fry, and it'll show every single page that actually has air fry on it. You know, you could look up vegan, and it will, even though we use the little icons and stuff like that now, but like I might have vegan options so in the notes, so you can actually read what the options are. So yeah, there's a great way to actually use this. When you've also got these saved to your phone, you go grocery shopping. I'm making Punjabi chicken tonight. Shit, I don't know what's in it. The book's at home. Oh, hang on a second. I'll just pull out my phone. Go into the search, put in Punjabi or chicken, find the recipe. There's all the ingredients on your phone, and you can actually go, okay, well, you can't see what's in your pantry at home, but you go, I haven't really got that, so I better get it just in case, right? So I think that that is like a really fantastic feature, and I have to say that I have used it, and I have used my testers groups for when I've gone out going, oh crap, I've left the shopping list at home, because I've done that plenty of times. I'm sure I'm not the only person. I do try and take photos just in case I do forget them. And I get into the store and I'm like, okay, so I'm making this, I've got that. I'm trying to remember what's on my list because I'm pretty good like in that kind of memory. But then if I can't, I will actually go into the groups or go into my search on my phone, because I've got all the things in iBooks on my phone. Every single ebook I've ever got in my life is on iBooks, and it's still there on every device I get, even my newest phone, which I bought a year or two ago. But anyway, and I can look at every ingredient while I'm in the supermarket and just buy the extra things. So that's why I think if I end up with, if I was buying curry powder and I come home with extra curry powder, I'd be prepared for lots of curry recipes. But yeah, I think that's a really good feature, and it is not just that it's our ebook. So if you've got ebooks from somebody else, I'm sure it will work exactly the same way, but it definitely works with ours. So I hope that that's something that taught a few people a little thing that you can use. But you get the ebook of this book straight away, so you can begin cooking great food that I want you to love. I'm not just somebody who writes recipes that are low carb or keto just for the sake of it. Or to sell them to you. I want to create the best cookbook, whether you're keto or not. So the food is simply delicious, and that's kind of why it was named that way. Every recipe in this book is low carb, it is keto. There is one recipe with apple in it, but you've got options. Other than that, there is no crazy ingredients. There is no you trying to work out what the macros are or anything like that for a low carb diet, because they are given to you for that exact recipe. The only thing you would have to change is if you were changing an ingredient, you just have to know what the difference is between the two ingredients, nutritional, if you're counting something. I try and keep it simple and just keep it under carbs, so pretty much in most of them, they're all much of a muchness, unless it's protein that you're swapping, but yeah, again, protein is a good thing. But anyway, I'll have a quick look at and see if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'll let you go, and I'm going to clean up this mess, and then I can have an early night. Okay, so you're ordering this ebook after the live. Okay, thanks, Tony. And if you like books, like I said, you can order the book. The book costs you $10 more, and plus shipping, but you'll get the ebook as part of it. So that's totally up to you. It just depends where you are from, and that as well too. This is why we all love you, Megan. You really do think about everyone in creating. Thanks, Tony. That's lovely to hear. But yeah, that is actually true. You'll find that over the years, we talk a lot about you, not about me, not about what I want to do. And I did indicate it in the video for our Simply Delicious. If you had seen a slideshow, this is actually the last book that I'll be doing in this kind of format. And I want our next choice will be kind of like Indonesia. It could be like world of flavor. It could be Indian. It could be Asian. It could be like meal prep. Something completely different. But again, I will have to start to glean that information from what you are looking for. so that I don't write for myself. If I write for myself from the get-go, you'll all be eating Mexican food every day of the week, or like American barbecue, because that was the kind of food that I loved. And funny thing is now I've kind of gone off on a whole nother tangent. So it's been great for me to cook outside of my old comfort zone in the way of foods that I loved personally. I've grown up with a lot of Asian foods from my father, cooking a lot of Asian meals all throughout my life, and I did as well, but most of them were things like, Cantonese and black bean and stuff like that, lots of ingredients that we don't use now. So I have to kind of reinvent those sort of things. But trying to keep food that we recognise that we all love. It's like I'm starting to look at Christmas now and I'm like going, oh, do we go for Christmas budget? Do we go less ingredients, making things really simple and quick so that we can actually have more times with our friends and family? Or is it where everyone goes indulgent? Like I'm not going to do high carb because there's plenty of high carb Christmas out there. Just go and buy the latest Women's Weekly and I'll have a Christmas recipes, that are all amazing and they're all high carb. That's not my thing. I do low carb. So we're not going to, go off on a whole nother tangent that way. But it's like, what kind of recipes do people, and I'm not writing a Christmas book by the way, but it's like, what sort of things are people after that you can actually make and that you really want, not just like I said, what I want to make, which is funny. I love indulgence. Of course, Linda, you do. You have a big Christmas. I've seen it. I like buying frozen cauliflower for convenience. There is enough in the bag for 4 serves. Yeah, Heather, I just saw I've still got a big bag of it in the freezer too, and it's so cheap. The cauliflower I used tonight was one that I still got for $3. So it was still and it was a good size. It was probably around about 800 grams to a kilo anyway for $3. But yeah, it was kind of on its last legs because I keep saying I was going to make the cauliflower bake, but I never quite got there. That is a recipe that's on our website. It's originally from this one, The Healthy Family, which is, a lot of people's favourite cookbook because it's all the family favourites all in one book kind of thing. Your old comfort food and fresh foods and stuff like that all popped in one book. But that cauliflower and bacon mac and cheese is the bomb, and that cauliflower kind of bit beyond it. But I'll give that a quick steam and we'll have that with the curry later. Well, we'll have it tomorrow because we've already had crackers today. Okay, I'm guessing, Linda, you're still waiting at the airport because you're talking. But I think everybody has asked their questions. If you're watching this on the playback and you do have any questions regarding anything that you've seen today, anything to do with the book, anything to do with curry or the ingredients and stuff like that, like I say, I just buy from my locals, so I don't know online. I actually looked online the other day for fenugreek leaves because I used it in the tandoori on our new recipe for the tandoori chicken on the website. I could find anywhere that was just general, but honestly, if you just go to look up Indian market or fenugreek leaves, you'll find somewhere that's local. When I looked on Amazon and stuff like that, just generally speaking, because like I said, our website is global. The prices on there were ridiculous, like $30 for some bag or something. I'm like, no, I don't pay that. I used to get from iHerb, but they don't have it anymore from iHerb. I used to get huge bags of it and divvy it up with everybody because it's all flaked herbs, like leaves, so it takes up a lot of space. But anyway, yeah, if you've got any questions, just ask and I'll help you out. And yeah, you can see that one was the one with the nigella seeds, but yeah, all looks pretty good to me. I've got some nice dinner for at least a few days now. But anyway, I'll catch you all soon. As I'd kind of said, we have been busy with my mum being sick and now she's going into care, so we're selling property, and today we found a nice place for her kitty cat, and hopefully it'll all be time to breathe soon and I'll be back to being able to be live in the kitchen. I know I was going to cook the other day too, and we had Stormy sick as well, so it's been a bit of a mission. But yeah, I will pick up the next thing. I think the next thing I'm going to cook for you is the Milky Bar pots de creme, which is from the book as well, and I'll show you some different ways of doing it. I thought I might even do a bit of a Christmas spin, maybe a tiramisu pots de creme might be nice. But anyway, I'll have a think on it and I will jump on a live again next week. Thanks again for tuning in.